Hey, you smart, beautiful people. Before you listen to this entire episode, come on to YouTube, to my channel, Stenell the Money Therapist, and see this footage live. Trust me, you will not regret. While you're there, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel where I post 10-minute clips of every guest that comes on my podcast show, No More Excuses, Wake Up. Because this specific episode is so special, you're going to get the entire footage on YouTube. I know. Thank me later. Go ahead, bae. Bust your freestyle.
Welcome to the show, and we're here right now. This is Tony and Stenell, and this is how we get down. We've been married for 12 years. I want you to know we're going to tell you about our relationship, so here we go. 6 years ago, my wife took nothing but an ideal and faith and turned it into a multi-million-dollar business with multiple streams of income. As a woman possessed, she overcame all obstacles and created multiple streams of wealth that has impacted our family for generations to come. From mental health professional to therapist to author to CEO, she is a constant reminder of the grace of God over her life. Get ready to listen to and take notes from Stenell, the money therapist, as she schools you on money, entrepreneurship, and life skills that was not taught. No more excuses. Wake up!
We are live, y'all. Hey, babe.
Hey.
We are going to be recording this episode live on Stenell, the Money Therapist, on YouTube. Here we are. I'm going to say live. Welcome back to No More Excuses, Wake Up, where we talk about money, entrepreneurship, and life skills that has not been taught. I am your host, Stenell Myers. I am with my husband again.
1 year later.
And this is actually our 12th year anniversary. We're recording in advance. We are going to be discussing again relationships, life and love, just how from last year, how our relationship or how we have manifest or grew. We're gonna go from there.
Well, last year we talked a lot about how we started. I guess we could talk about more so how we live now. You know what I mean?
More how we live?
Yeah, our lifestyle, things like that.
Okay. We did talk about this in the beginning, what we was going to talk about, but we never said about our lifestyle. What we said, and this is raw, what we said we were going to discuss was about marriage and relationships and cheating and all of those sorts and love and all that is together with that.
Well, that's sort of a part of our lifestyle. We don't indulge in cheating, of course, but I'm just talking about the way we be, our whole being.
Okay, then let's go. Let's talk about it. When we talked last year, we were talking about blended family, marriage, how we met, money, and how we struggled in the beginning, and the chicken heads and all that. I'm just trying to remember for all y'all that listen to episode 4 and the different trials and tribulations that we went through, and how I personally didn't think, our marriage wasn't going to last because we were not going to be together. It was the second year Tony was actually leaving me. God spoke to Tony, right?
God spoke to me in the beginning before we even got married. The pastor that actually helped us, Pastor Hawkins. Not that I'm promoting this church, but anyway. He actually gave really good advice to that point in time in our marriage. It's probably the one thing I could take away from that church.
Okay, and so now here we are, and there has been a lot of people that have been reaching out via my email or DMing me, individuals that I know that's saying how episode 4 of last year, how transparent we were, how honest we were, and how in some capacity they didn't notice about us or it helped them, because there's people that are struggling in their relationships, people that have been through relationships where their husband cheated and they're still together, and listening to us had, not saying that was our story, but we did go through a story.
It wasn't our story, but go ahead.
But we had a story to where in the beginning it was rough.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
you had to align things in order when it came to your relationship in the past. Can we just talk about what advice would you give a man?
In the beginning being rough? Well, in the beginning, you gotta. Well, the one thing that I did in the beginning to keep me grounded, that this was a promise from God, because God told me to marry you. He literally opened up. I've only had a window in my life open up in front of me 2 times. One of those times was when he told me to marry you. He literally opened up a box in a window, and I saw you. Inside that box, I saw this at the altar. So I knew that it was God, that you were my promise from God. So I had to remind myself. While reminding myself, I would ask, I'm like, God, you told me to marry her, so I know things are going to work out. And I had to do that. I had to do that a couple times.
You know, God, you sure? That's what you was about to say?
Yeah.
Be real.
That's being real.
Okay,
that's
sure
what
about what?
Are you sure this is where I'm supposed to be? And then, he ain't verbally, ultimately answer me, but and then I would just say, you never made a mistake. You've always been right. I'm the only one in our relationship, God, that made mistakes. I'm going to stay with your plan, and I did.
I'm sure people are saying, why would you ask God, are you sure?
Because at the time I wasn't sure. That was my insecurity, because God is always secure in his wording. He never is wrong. The only time we question God is because we're insecure about our stand, either with God or in this situation that we're in. I was very secure that God told me to marry you. I've seen it. I knew it was God. The only thing that happens, life comes up, you get weary, you get tired, years go by, and you don't see the manifestation like you're thinking you're supposed to see it, and you question him sometimes.
When God told you to marry me and you questioned him, was it because I remember you was telling someone a long time ago, you was telling our friend Kim that God told you to do something. He told you what to do. Would you say sometimes you don't want to do something, but he tell you what you need to do? So you didn't want to do it.
No. I was very open to doing what God wanted me to do. When he showed me that window, you were beautiful, you were smart, you're intelligent. I was very open and receptive to it. The only thing that I'm saying is, as time went on and life was just so hard, I didn't understand why he wanted me to go through something so hard in the beginning when I was pretty much comfortable where I was, but I understand now though. I would have never got to my purpose if I didn't go through what I needed to
Life
get through.
was hard how?
Just financially, mentally, it was just a little rough in the beginning, that's all.
Okay, everybody, when you're coming from a male that is single, he was married, he had his daughter, and now he has his apartment, so coming to a woman to have 3 children, he had to, and that's what I'm trying to get to, you had to change your mindset. So I'm trying to get to where you can talk to a man that is struggling in that area to where he knows what God has told him or gave him a command what to do, but inside he don't want to do it. It's not what he want to do, but God's telling him what's good for him, because we don't know what's good for us.
Right, yeah. If you don't want to do what God have you do, then certainly don't understand it. You're not after his heart. Most people, when God gives them an assignment, they want to achieve the assignment. Do they end up achieving it all the time? No, but they try at least. The assignment when God gave me, showed me you and our family, I said I was certainly open to it because you were beautiful, you were smart.
Still am.
Yeah, definitely. Beautiful, smart, intelligent. It was open arms. The only question came in when, things just got super rough. And
tell them money,
finances was like really hard. I don't know what you want me to tell.
Because you're not.
But we went through it already.
I know you went through it. I know, but apparently we got to go through it again because we've been talking about this for 5 minutes.
I don't know why we're talking about this still.
Okay, because we are trying to show people where we were and where we are and how we got there. And how we got there. And
I showed you. I mean, they know what rough is. Rough is broke.
Okay, so we were not broke because because you were no longer spending your money on women. You wasn't traveling where you wanted to travel and doing those things, but we weren't broke. Broke is when you can't do the things that we still live.
Broke is when you have to take sugar packs to the food store with your kids so they can have some flavored water. That's broke. That's where we were.
No,
I was not there before we got married.
That's because it was just you and Ryan.
Right.
So when you have
four people to bring now.
Right. That's $30.
Yes, that's a lot of money.
You get the lemon, you squeeze the lemon in the cup, you add your little sugar, and now you got lemonade.
All
you
I'm saying is
$2.50 or $3.50 for lemonade.
And we both agreed to that. But I'm saying that I wasn't used to that, and neither was Rye, and neither was I don't even think you were used to that. Like, who was used to that? Like, who ever thought about that?
No,
but
it
you
was
think
smart.
about those things when you're in a situation. We don't think about that now.
But I'd rather do it now.
No, you don't.
No, I
you
would.
wouldn't. Yo.
Okay, 1 second.
Yo.
I drink water all the time.
No
I
doubt.
drink water
No
going
doubt.
out.
No doubt.
You know why? Because it's
But
expensive.
you ain't bringing the water pack so you can not have
right,
what you
because
want
what do? You'll get a ginger ale. You drink. You know,
Whatever.
you order your beer or whatever. I don't drink at all, so I know you're gonna order a ginger ale, so I'm gonna drink your ginger ale. I'm still trying to save. My mindset. I am still the same person that I was in a sense.
If people don't think that money changes them, they're delusional. Money changes people, and people change because they have money. It's just what happens. Your scope of life changes, your goals change, because when you didn't have money and your goal was just to pay the bills, that's different than when you have money now and your goals is to fulfill your dreams. It's a different mindset. When you're struggling and fighting, you're struggling to have, of course, you have your quality of life that you're in at that point, taking your kids so they can experience some things, but it's still a struggle because you don't have the money to really do it like you want to do it. And when you get to a point where you are from that point and you go to this point, your mindset definitely changes, because now you don't have to think about the struggle, you're thinking about the dream. You're working on your dreams, not your struggles. Your mindset changes when you have money. Money changes your mindset and changes your goals, because one goal was to pay the bills, now your goal is to reach the masses in their discovery of who they are. So money changes situations in people's lives all the time. We just don't like to admit that money changes us, but it really does.
But I still drink water. That's just the point that I'm
okay, that's the one thing didn't change. She's drinking water still.
We order out, I drink water. I do, because it's expensive. It's like $5. And then they put a lot of sugar in it. And you know I don't consume drinks that have sugar in it. I really do not.
And another thing didn't change. We always tip waiters good, even when we didn't really have the money.
Well, that did change because we tip more.
Well, we tip a lot more. But,
yeah.
But we tipped them always their
and I did learn that from you.
Yep.
I want to get back to where, what would you say? Because I really never met, I haven't had a man on the show since you. Not that I won't have one. I actually am going to have a guy come on the show and talk about his book. Until then, what is it that you are... What kind of advice would you tell? We have a lot of talks, and I say, wait, let's save that to talk about it. And one of the things that Tony talks about all the time is out the blue, he start talking about men being honest in their marriage.
I know what morning you're talking about. I woke up, I believe it was a Sunday morning. I was just sitting there thinking, like, I don't know how men, well, I know how they do it because I've done it before as a man, but when you really love someone, cheat it. Like, you know, not on you, not. But I'm just saying, cheat it. When people cheat.
Wait, let's go back. You said not on me? What do you mean?
I ain't cheat on you. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But when people cheated in the past, when I've cheated in the past, in my past.
Can you define what cheating is? I'm just saying, with cheating.
Everybody knows what cheating
could
is.
be giving somebody your phone number, or on Facebook, or on Instagram, or doing DMs, or everybody have their own definition of cheating. It doesn't necessarily have to be sexual.
Well, I'm talking about sexual.
Relation.
Anyway, I'm just saying, when a person really loves somebody, it's really hard to hurt that person. And a lot of times it takes different people at different times to get there. When you get there, you realize this is my lifelong partner. I'm never going to hurt them. When you feel that way inside, that's when you really know you love that person. When you feel that way, like, I never want to hurt that person in any capacity, you actually realize that you've gotten to the point where you love that person more than you love yourself.
So remember I was saying that like 5 years ago? We was driving down the highway and you disagreed. I've been saying that for years.
I didn't disagree with the fact. What did I disagree with?
I said, when you really, truly love a person, there's no way you can hurt them. Like, you can't hurt your kids. Nobody deliberately. I know when people say that there's a difference between loving the person and being in love with the person. I always look at it with agape, and I always say agape and philos love. Mm-hmm. And when you have God's love inside of you, I can't hurt you. And there is a world out there, and there's people that they'll try you, but you can't do that. And then you mentioned being selfish. And you said when you do that, that's an act of selfishness. Because you're thinking about yourself and you're not thinking about the other person. If you truly love somebody, how can you hurt them?
Well, cheating, the whole aspect is selfish. You're only cheating because you want you're desiring something that you don't have, and you don't care what it costs to get. Cheating is a totally selfish aspect. To me, the whole thing about cheating in a marriage, it don't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. You're gonna sacrifice your best friend, your whole thing that you built all this time for what? 5, 10, 15, but what somebody said, 51 strokes, and then it's over. Yeah, one of them comedians said it's like 51 strokes and it's over. So it just ain't worth it, when you come down to it.
I mean, if you do it several times, that 51 add up times 2, times 3, times 4.
But the whole thing is, it ain't worth it. The real gist of what the comedian was saying is, you sacrifice all that for 51 strokes. You sacrifice your family, your wife, your finances, your mental well-being for 51 strokes, and it just ain't worth it. You got to realize that the person you're really hurting is your best friend, and you got to not want to do that. And why would somebody want to do that? This doesn't make sense.
No, it don't make sense. It don't make sense.
I mean, people do it every day, though.
Okay.
Every day.
All right, you did it.
Yeah, I did it. I did it for years. Yeah, it don't make sense now. I'm older. I'm wiser, and I never want to hurt you.
So, what would you tell somebody that's in that situation right now?
I would just say,
what would you tell a man?
If you're married and you're a man and you're in a situation where you got, 2 women in your life or whatever, you got your wife and your side piece. Your side piece is disrupting your peace. That's what I would tell them. But my peace in my marriage comes from me being completely honest and open with my wife. Like, I don't have any secrets. I don't care if she got my phone. I don't care. I don't even know what my phone is half the time. That lets you know I'm just totally lost or clueless when it comes to cheating. My whole thing is, your side piece is the one that's disturbing your peace. And you might say, okay, well, I love her. Well, you don't really know if you love her because the simple fact that you haven't really spent the time with her to develop a love relationship like you should have. The whole thing is, if you don't love your wife no more, then divorce her. It's better to go through that than to try to do both. To me, I just know. I mean, to me, it just don't seem like it's really possible to have that much going on in somebody's life and really be happy. The search at this age is to be happy. When you're in your 20s and 30s, maybe, that's the run, that's the chase. But when you become, your 40s and you're trying to build a life partnership, that person that you're with, they're with you hopefully for, they want to see old age with you. I want to see old age with my wife. I don't want to be 60 and, have to go find somebody, or 50 and have to go find somebody. I mean, 55, whatever. I'll be 55 in a couple of years, so we got to go a little higher than that now. So
7 a year and a half. Well, okay.
70 and have to go find somebody. I want to live my life out with the same person, even though we argue and we fuss like everybody else.
Yes, we do. Don't get it twisted.
Women always right. They just always right. It's amazing. But anyway,
I remember Michael Basin back in the day when he had his radio station. He has a couple books out, Believe the Maintenance Man and all of that. And I remember he had a guest on his show, and he had said that when you're cheating, the guest said, you don't have a relationship with that person. Y'all not paying bills together. Y'all not raising kids together. Y'all having sex. Y'all may be getting some type of release or thrill, but what you have inside of a marriage, and that could be the thing that stray you away: money, kids, relationship, all of that. But when you go and you seek out, you really don't know who this person is, because you're not doing all these different things together that holds a marriage.
I gotta keep it real. Like, if I did not go to church, if I did not see God in the beginning of our marriage, if I did not chase after God, I would have been the same person I've always been. I believe 100% is the reason the way I am now is because God put that in me. He changed my whole aspect. It took some time to get me where I'm at, but it took the actual initial thought of being loyal to one person that came from God. I just never seen it in my life. Like I said, I only seen it in my grandfather, and every other person I knew was like I was. I didn't even know this was actually possible. As you begin to change, you begin to find other people like you, other men that treat their wives like that, and then they become, not that my friends did, not that all of them did, because I'm not here to, do no snitching, on nobody. But all I'm saying is, when you begin to seek out your friends and stuff like that, you begin to look for people with like-mindedness.
The saying is, be the change you want to see. So that's what you basically become. You became the change that you wanted to see in our marriage.
I always wanted to be like this. I just didn't know how, really. Like I said, I see my grandfather, but I went to my grandfather's house for maybe like from 12 to 19 or something like that. And then after that, I did. All the time before then, all I saw was fighting and discord. And then I had that peace area where I actually found God in my youth. Once I got to my grandmother's house, I just think that developmental part there, when I spent some time with my grandmother and I learned about God, and that built a foundation that brought me to when I met you, I was able to rely on. And when God spoke to me, I was able to hear his voice because I understood his voice from when I was young. It's like a whole life experience led me up to this point. It's crazy because everything in my life seemed to flush me up to here.
Everything?
Mm-hmm. Everything. Good and bad.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that we can be at a place to where we can be authentic and communicate with people now that we're going into 12 years. And 12 years may not be a lot to people that's in 20 and 25 and 30, but 12 years to me is everything. I remember when we almost didn't make it. I remember that. I remember the day. I remember the conversation. I remember how honest you was and how hurt I was. And then I remember the transformation and how your mind, you changed. I remember praying, getting on my knees, and then you just went from one part to the next part. You changed. And the reason why I tell people this is because when you pray to God and you ask for something, I said, God, we were only married for like a year, and I said, well, if he's going to leave, then release him. But if that's not what you want, then keep him here. Like, I did not want Tony to go. He made that decision because he thought it was too much for him, or he just wasn't, even though he said I do, and even though God told him to marry me, he still, and I need y'all to get this, he still wasn't 100% ready. I'm not saying actively sexually cheating, no, because I don't go for that. I don't deal with that. So if you have questions about that, I'm talking about it was not breaking off the relationships of communicating that I am married instead of saying, don't call me no more. Because I seen that in the phone, but it wasn't, I'm married, and being real in that aspect. So if we would have one argument, that one argument could transpire into him maybe communicating. This is how I felt. I see your face. What I'm saying is that I want us to be as real and transparent as possible. Because of this platform, we are helping so many people that are struggling. And I thank you for being honest and talking about this, because we did have a rough patch. We don't have that patch anymore. It's now 12 years. At the beginning, we did. And I remember my mom saying, you got to go through rough patches. She said he was doing what he was doing for years. And here y'all come 6 months and y'all married. And you want him to be something that he haven't been. If you truly love him, and if he loves you like I think he do, y'all have to work it out. And you have to trust that it's going to work. And I remember my mom saying that.
That was good advice.
That's my advice to you guys as well.
Because I was thinking that you just gotta, in marriage, there's no other thing to do. I remember this older white couple, we was on the train, and they was like married 30 something years. And you asked, well, how'd y'all do it? He's like, we just stayed together.
Oh yeah.
He said, we just stay together. Like, you have the choice to leave or stay together. Okay, they make a mistake, they do things wrong. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody. It's hard to make a mistake and lie to have sex with somebody. That's a lot of planning. But make a mistake. It's hard to make a mistake and have sex with somebody. Because that's a lot. That's not really a mistake. You planned that.
Oh.
Words come out. People may get mad at each other. Arguments happen. Those things, those type of mistakes that I have, like you say something maybe unkind one day or something like that you didn't really tend to say, but because of the heat of the argument, you say it out of a mistake or out of anger. Those type of mistakes I'm talking about. Sex with another person is not a mistake. That's a plan. People make mistakes all the time. People go out to get drunk, whatever. And whatever happens. But anyway, you got to press past mistakes. We're all going to make them. We're all going to blow money. We're all going to make mistakes with money. We're all going to make mistakes with personal feelings and things of that nature. But you just got to just stay. If you really want a long relationship, if you want something to happen, want somebody to grow old with, if you love that person, just stay. Nobody's perfect. I'm never going to have a six-pack.
If you go to Elise and get that lipo.
Yeah, if I go to Elise get lipo,
if you go to my girl get your lipo, she doing lipo, y'all.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen though.
In Cherry Hill. She doing lipo, y'all, in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. If you go to Elise, she's a nurse practitioner, you could get your six pack.
Yeah, well, that ain't gonna
Don't say that. Will you
I'm
want that
not
before
doing
pack?
I got a nice little round pack going on right now. I'm good. Nah, I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna be better by next year. I'm never gonna be 6'2" with a six pack. It's not gonna be me, but I love her. You know what I mean? She loves me. I love her for where she at. She loves me for where I'm at. And if anything changes, I'm still gonna love her. If she gets thinner or fatter, it doesn't matter to me. It just matters that she stays the person who God intended her to be, and I want her to be all that God wanted her to be. Because I couldn't even imagine in my life that she would be the person who she is right now. I knew she had potential when I met her, but I never dreamed in a million years she would be the woman I'm looking at. I'm really grateful to God. He looked into my future and seen what I needed. And I definitely needed a woman of her stature, and I appreciate that.
So let me tell you what he's saying is, you know how in the beginning, like 20 minutes ago, when he said that we were struggling and all that stuff, and we was broke and all that stuff, you know, I'm going to break it down for y'all.
Break it down.
And then we was broke and all that. What he's saying is, he thought we was broke when we were together.
We were.
Okay, 2 years. He glad that we didn't break up and that we stayed and that God, and he spoke to Pastor Hawkins and all of that, because now looking forward that God has blessed us, and not saying that God wouldn't have blessed him in another relationship or anything like that, but when God has something for you, God has something for you. All of this would have went, you know, with another man.
Well, that's not absolutely true, because it was God that sent me to the church when you met your mentor. All this was a plan of God. It doesn't mean no other
When God
man.
has something for you,
I don't know what she's talking about.
God has something for
no
you.
No doubt.
Regardless,
But when
he would
you
have
got
messed all this up.
she wasn't going nowhere.
I wasn't. You was. I stayed steadfast. I wasn't, because I didn't understand where it was coming
Why
from.
are we talking about this?
Because we have to help somebody.
I
don't know, people.
Okay.
I wasn't going anywhere. I was not going anywhere because it wasn't my decision. It was yours, but you did stay. I'm just saying, you turned around, took out a loan, and the loan that I didn't know that went to your friend's house, the money that you was going to leave me with. You came home, you sat me on your lap. I mean, it's a good ending. You sat me on your lap, you showed me, and it was $10,000, and you said, here. And I was like, what's this? Because I knew he was leaving. You take this check. I need y'all to get this. He said, take this check and do whatever you need to do with it. I had a talk with Pastor, and he said, try to look at the end. He said, and I was able to look at the end of what my life would look like, and my life would look like without you. And I don't like it. So take this check to do whatever you need to do with it. I'm sorry, and I'm staying, and we gonna make this work.
He did do it. You know, Pastor Hawk was not that bad. He was not a bad man. He did do that, and I was actually able to see the end. He was very gifted.
And what did he tell you to do? He said, look at the end. And you said, when you saw the end, what did you see?
I didn't like what I saw. I don't quite remember, but I do remember that conversation. I didn't like what I saw. You
told me that when you saw the end, you just saw you and Ryan. Mm. And you said you didn't see you in a relationship, and you didn't want that for your life. He was still out there.
Oh, yeah. If we didn't work, I was never planning on going into another relationship again. That just wasn't my plan.
So you'd have just been having sex and...
I'd have had some hopes.
Yeah. And you might have had AIDS.
I probably would have had that too. That's sure. More likely. But
I mean, you said it like it's good to have some hoes out there. And who are you calling a hoe?
I'm just saying.
That's somebody's child.
I'm just saying. I don't mean...
Prostitute?
Hell no, I didn't do that.
So what?
Well, I apologize. I would have had a lot of different relationships
where you would have been the hoe. This is what I don't like.
Actually,
with men.
I was the hoe.
Okay, that's what I like with men. Tell the truth.
They were actually using me. Like before we met, those girls that I thought I was playing me, because nobody called me to go hang out. They called me only when they wanted to, have sex and things of that nature. So I was really being used. And I thought I was being the one using them, and I thought I was being the player, but I was getting played.
You know what? That's really good that you said that, because I remember having a conversation with Karen that used to do my hair a long time ago, and she said that a lot of men don't understand that they're the ones that we're playing them.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. I understood that. I was definitely getting played. I would still be getting played if we didn't make
But
it
you
out.
was you was okay with that because you was doing the same. You were
Well,
doing the same thing.
I thought that's what I wanted. I thought that's the lifestyle that I wanted to have until I met you, and then God slowed me down, and then we had a real relationship. That's way 100% better than running the streets being played. You grow up as a man and you think the more women I got, I'm the man. That's what they put in your head when you're young, because you see everybody in the hood doing it. Everybody in the hood got this girl, that, the ball players, people with money got girls. It ain't even about that. Think about it. Even the players who think they don't want relationships, they really aren't looking for a relationship. Everybody wants somebody that cares about them. God looked at man and said it was not good for man to be alone. And then he made Eve. It's the absolute truth. It is not good for man to be alone, because when man is alone, we're selfish beings. And you can't be happy being selfish. My ideal of happiness is sharing what I have, giving to the homeless, loving on somebody that loving me back. I mean, that's real happiness. Building a family together, building love and a relationship together. That's real happiness. Don't look at me like that.
I'm just saying.
There's just some things that true happiness is what we all should be striving for. It's not about materials. It's about feelings and love and relationship. Relationship is what makes the world go around. Even with a relationship with friends, everybody's looking for a relationship on some type of level. The best thing in life for me is to have a person I love, which is my wife, and to build and have a great family together. That's what makes me happy.
That's what make you happy. I mean, I know people called you sellouts, and I'm sure because you was running with a whole crew. Let me just say that. And how could you help the next man that want to get straight and do the right thing, and they have their friends over here, but they don't want to be called a sellout, but they know that this woman that they with now will have their back 100%, and so they might be torn.
My friends didn't really speak bad of it. I mean, they just, it's like, you can't go, you hemmed up, you know what I mean? And I didn't, it's not that I couldn't go, I just didn't want to go no more. I remember the time that I did hang out with them one night, and we went to the after party, and this sounds crazy, but this actually happened. I walked downstairs with them. We opened the door to the club, and everybody in the club was frozen. They stood still, like they were stuck. Not that they were frozen in the ice or anything, but they just didn't move. And I said, God, what's going on? Why everybody look like this? And he said, because they're all stuck in this place in life. They're not moving forward. They're happy with their lives where it was. And I was like, wow, Lord, I don't want to be like this. I may have stayed up probably another hour than I left. And I realized from that point on, life is about moving forward and changing. We all go through the point where we want to hang and do all other things. Once you in a relationship and you're moving forward, you got to keep it moving. Like, you can't look back. You can't think, oh, I want to go back there, because going back there that's the other way. That's the wrong way. If you're moving forward, keep going forward. Keep moving towards the goals and the aspirations that you want. Don't turn around for nobody, because the only things back there is the people that's stuck. They're stuck in their thing. They're stuck in what they want to do. If they don't want to move forward with you, just keep it pushing. It's not that my friends hated me. They didn't hate me. They thought I was hemmed up and hating on me for that. They were happy, I imagine, because I was in a meaningful relationship. They're not going to change. They doing what they do. You know what I mean? And they got meaningful relationships. But, I just wanted to take mine a little further. I wanted to get married, so that's a little different.
That was the night that I got into the car in my robe.
Yeah.
And I wasn't used to this. And we was just married like in a skip of a jump. And it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I got in the car in my robe. And as I was getting in my car in my robe, he was pulling up because I didn't know where I was going. But I was going to try to find him. And that brings me to where you accept things, and you either accept them and don't accept them. And that was one of the things, like he said, he can do what he want to do, but it's just certain things like I just don't accept. We met, why are you going to a club with guys that are single, guys that are married that act like they single? No, for me. And that's what a battle was. That's where we was conflicting and fighting. We're married. I didn't agree with that. That was my battle. And it was because,
I didn't have a problem with it, though. I wasn't going out.
No, but it was when you were, let me say it like this, when you are trying to change what you was trying to change, I remember us having an argument because even though we were married. I wasn't trying to force you to be right, but you were trying to change one, but you was moving too slow because we were already married. We wasn't dating. We got married quick. We met in April. We were married in October.
Yeah, but hanging out wasn't my issue. When we got married, I got saved, so I really wasn't going out like that.
You weren't going out like that, but you also didn't like me telling you or saying
or
dictating
what to do.
And that's what you weren't used to because you were used to making your own decisions because you wasn't
still not
married.
used to that.
Right? No, but I'm just saying, and that, but that goes back to where you said that selfish part, because now you have to live for not only what you want, but for respecting what I want, and that was the struggle. We had arguments over that.
We didn't have arguments about me going out though.
See, y'all, I'm gonna rewind this because it's not what I said. We had arguments about you changing from being this single man and having to struggle how I opened it up with what would you tell somebody that is struggling with, like their friends are saying, hey, you're not doing this no more. Maybe
if they really your friends,
had arguments.
But if they're really your friends, they already know you're not going. After a while, you get to the point where they're not even asking you to hang because they already know you're not hanging.
And it did take a while for that. Not saying that I wanted that to happen, but you end up making that change for yourself because you started to see.
Well, they knew I was.
And you started to respect. I think church helped a lot because even when we got into our other church with the other pastor, you was like, wow, like I like the way he is with his wife because you didn't see these things. I didn't see it in church.
But when we first was married and we were going to the one church, I said we need to leave here because I don't see what a man is with his wife. This man doesn't bring his wife on the podium with him. He don't even speak about him. So we need to leave where there's a real couple.
And you tried. I'll give you that kudos.
I did.
You tried.
I tried what?
You tried. You tried to you tried to make it better, Tony. I'm saying I don't know what you think I'm trying to say. I'm not saying I
feel a curveball coming.
No, I'm saying that you tried. You didn't see the pastor displaying and putting his wife in the forefront.
Yeah, I did.
And you said you needed that.
Yeah, I needed somebody to teach me.
And I love that you was like, we can't stay here. And that's the reason why we left. You was like, I can't stay here and hear him talk about his wife. Like, I need that. I need a man to speak life into me, when it comes to marriage. Like, that's something that he wanted. And we left. That's what I was saying.
Sure did. Yes, we did. We left ASAP.
And I was there for 7 years. Well, you got a point.
Yeah.
And if this is going to make you better and I don't be in another relationship and you don't be in another relationship, then let's do it. Because I wasn't getting married again.
No. We left and went to
another church.
Okay,
because boy, he'd start spilling stuff. We went to another church.
Well, okay, since I already mentioned his name, we went to Pastor Hawkins' church.
Okay.
Right. And there, and I'll give him his credit, he gave me a lot of good marital advice. He really did. We'll leave it at that. He did. He helped me out in the beginning.
Okay, I will agree with that. He did. He was there. Even when I will call him and complain about him, he was there. I will give him that.
He listened.
Yeah.
Good man for that.
Now that we're in our 12th year.
12 years.
Almost
12 is a great 12 years. I'm looking forward to 12 more. I'm looking forward to 30 more.
Will we be dead?
Let's see, I'll be 42 years, I'll be 90.
That's
I might be dead.
I'm a mathematician.
I am probably going to live till 90.
Tells everybody he probably going to live till 90.
So yeah, 42 years would give me 95. So I might be with the Lord.
Oh, all right. Well, I don't know where I'm going to live.
You'll still be young.
I don't know.
You'll be a young 80.
We're 7.5 years apart.
I got somebody to take care of me, y'all.
When I was in 8th grade, he was in college.
This is important. Don't marry nobody your age. I'm keeping it real. Somebody got to watch somebody. Somebody got to take care of somebody. You know what I mean? So you marry somebody younger, you might be all right. Marry somebody older, you're gonna be doing the daycare.
Okay.
And the diaper changing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong with it, but if you had to choose it,
you just like
choose the other
women.
way.
Just like younger women.
I like my wife. I don't like younger women.
I'm just saying you liked
I like
younger.
You.
Okay, you keep it. That's right.
Boo.
Do it right. That's whatever. Yeah. You see that, right? Let's think. Yeah.
I already got it. I'm on it. Mess around and say something stupid, she be on it. So you gotta be on it. I enjoyed our 12 years. It just been a bunch of changes. It's so crazy how we went from one spectrum, like when we first get married, where even from the point we was like feeding the homeless, how God just took us from place to place to place in our marriage, and we're now here. It's just incredible. It's really incredible. Like, you could really see God in it all. And I appreciate him for it. I really do. I appreciate him for even having me in mind to take care of a woman like this. I appreciate that. I try to keep that in mind every day. And you can't take it for granted, because people don't have to stay with you. People don't have to be there. They can make a decision to leave you at any point.
That's so
You know what I mean?
true. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah,
That's so true.
You have to appreciate the people that are with you, because they don't have to be there. You can make a choice at any time to vacate your premises or vacate your life. Treat people with respect. I try to do like Jesus said, love. If you love somebody like you love yourself, it is impossible to do them dirty, because you ain't never going to do yourself dirty. I ain't never going to go out there and smack myself in the face. That's for sure. You loving like Jesus really wants us to love.
Agape.
Yeah, it's not possible to hurt somebody, because you will not hurt yourself. You can't put a fire under your hand and leave it there until your hand burns, because naturally your body's going to push it away.
Right.
So yeah, it's impossible to hurt yourself. You can hurt yourself if you do it very quickly, but hopefully, you gotta love everybody like you love yourself, or even more. Almost like, and God even does. He commanded the man to love us more. He said, and man gotta love our wife like Christ loved the church and gave his life as a sacrifice for the church. So that's telling us to die for our woman if we ain't had to. Lord Jesus.
Y'all hear him?
Well, that's a high letter.
Y'all hear him?
That's a lot to ask for, Lord. That's a lot to ask for.
He was definitely called to be a pastor. He was called. And hopefully one day he'll walk in his calling.
Yeah, hopefully one day.
That's my prayer, that one day he will definitely walk in his calling, because along the way we have helped a lot of people, not only just feeding them or giving them money, but with the word and praying for them. Hopefully he'll walk in that.
Hopefully. To me, I just think pastoring or being a child of God it's just so different now than when I was growing up. A pastor was a man in the pulpit. But a pastor is anybody that's taking care of flock, or anybody that's taking care of sheep. You out there taking care of flock. Your flock may be the homeless and giving money to them every time you see them. Your flock may be giving water out to kids, make sure your kids in your neighborhood are safe. Whatever your flock is, pastor your flock.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
Pastor your flock.
Pastor your flock.
That's right. I like that. You better say something.
I'm anointed.
Yes, you are. I can't. Don't start getting cocky.
I'm just saying.
Don't start getting cocky.
That's a message right there.
That's a message right there.
Oh,
Pastor, that is a. Don't be trying to take it, pastors.
Don't take my
Don't
pastor.
be trying to
Take my word.
Don't no. We don't even try it. Don't try it. Because we had a pastor one time when we was in the Cherry Hill Mall, and I had said something to many are called, but few are chosen. I said, but you have to answer the call. I said, if you don't answer the call, how can God choose you? He was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Oh, we preach on that. That's Sunday session. I'm praying for this one right here.
I was like, he said, say it again. And I said it. He was like, I'm gonna have to preach on that on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
I said, oh my, is this what we doing now?
God said,
are we Googling?
pastor your flock, whatever your flock may be, pastor. Let's just love on people, man. That's it.
Because the divorce rate is really high. And we've both been divorced before. You have to really love the person you're with. You have to really love them. In order for it to work, love them. When you really love a person, you try. Not saying that you don't leave, you just try.
Yeah. My wife's a media social person. She gets a lot of weird people doing a lot of weird stuff on the media. And me as a man, I could be insecure, jealous, or whatever, but I know she loves me. I don't never worry about her doing anything wrong or something that's going to hurt me, because I know that's not in her heart for me. As a man, we just got to let them grow. You got to let your partner be who God wants them to be. And whatever God put in their heart, your job is to nurture it and to make sure it grows. That's her job. And their job is to do the same thing for us. So we were helpers of one another.
Pastor your flock.
Pastor your flock.
I like that. I think that's a good ending.
Yes, it is.
That's
yes,
a great
ending.
ending. See how God just be walking and all over you and all.
Glory.
I can't. This was not rehearsed, and I'm not editing any of this. None of it. But Pastor, your fly.
Pastor, your fly. That's a good ending right there.
Coming up on even the year during the podcast and having this platform is different because I talk about finances and money and all of those different things, but I also wear the hat as running these different businesses as well. But the platform has opened up just understanding people and what they're going through. So when I'm talking about just finances, there's people over here like, wait, but I like that episode about the relationship, or, you know, the woman that was on there was talking about abuse, and, you know, it's just other different things that the platform is opening for people other than money. And that's why I titled it No More Excuses, Wake Up, because it's about money, entrepreneurship, and life skills.
So
this is everything.
So what are you doing? You pastoring your flock.
Pastoring, yeah.
You're giving them sources in order for them to grow. And a shepherd leads his flock to fields where they can grow, eat, grow, and mature and become live sheep.
And I had to get out of my way, my own way, because that wasn't the name. The initial name of the podcast was Live Your Fucking Life, because I was mad at my kids. And if
That's easy to be.
And if I would have done that, I would have missed, because the title means everything. And I would have missed this opportunity, because my prayer is always Solomon's prayer. God, please just grant me the wisdom and knowledge to be able to help your people or govern your people between right and wrong, whatever that is. That's always my prayer, for wisdom and knowledge. I don't pray for luxury and all of that. I do pray for wisdom and knowledge all the time, because I want to make sure that I'm giving you right information. And I want to make sure that you're taking it to heart and you're getting it. So, Pastor your flock.
Pastor your flock.
Yeah, I'm going to have to put that on.
That's what we're here for, though. That's
social media,
that's what we're
and then put
on the planet for. That's what we're here to put on the earth for. We're here to love on one another, to treat one another with love, and to take care of those that mean the most to you. And that's it. And hopefully our hearts just get bigger and start just taking care, not just the ones that are close to us, but our strangers, people you see passing you by. Don't forget, any day, that could be you.
Yeah.
That could be you. You know, always give. I remember one time we was giving so much, I went from out my door and I said, God, I was just about to leave my door. I said, Lord, don't nobody give me nothing. Before I opened the door, my neighbor was like, hey, Tony, come here. I was like, what you want, man? He's like, yo, you want to borrow my grill? I said, why would I want to borrow your grill? He's like, man, I'm saying, do you want to have my grill? That quick, God let somebody be there to let me know, like, I am going to bless you. Just keep being who you are and keep doing what you're going to do, and people going to give to you. Don't worry about who giving to you. That's his job. Your job is to give to everyone that you can.
Yeah.
Make your life an open hand. Give all you can give. And you can be, so you can be all that you can be.
And all that God wants you to be, and all that he created you to be. And that's what happened to me literally today in the DMV. Talking to this man, his number was like 5 before mine. Then he comes out. He was so upset. He said, "Don't you know I had to pay $32?" He was talking about $32. He said, "It's $32. That was my rent." He said, "That's for next month." He said, "I saved it." He said, "I had to pay for this fee. It only come up in January and June." He said, "It's October." He said, "Now I'm sure I had to pay." He was so mad. He went up there trying to get someone to help him, a supervisor, and I overheard him say, "There's nothing that we can do." And as he was leaving out, I was counting my money, and I had $30. And I said, "Here you go." It was a 20 and it was 10 once. I said, "Here you go." I said, "Now you have your rent back." I said, "I'm short $2, but I think you'll be okay." He looked at me and said, I didn't tell you that for this." I said, "I know." I said, "I just want to help you." But it was only $32, and that $32, he was short his rent.
Wow.
You know, and he was so mad. And he looked at me. He said, "Oh, man, can I have a hug?" He hugged me. And then he said, "Can I come to your house and fix something?" He said, "Can I do something?" I said, "No, just go ahead and pay your rent. You good now." He said, "Oh." And he was so grateful.
Yeah.
The gratitude He was so grateful.
I mean, I knew we was gonna have a giving relationship from the beginning. When we out the night I proposed, went to bed, I had the word Increase Ministries written on my head. I woke up.
Well, I didn't see it.
I'm like, yo, babe,
It's like, he's
babe,
crazy.
there's a word on my forehead.
He's crazy.
It sounds crazy, but literally, God had wrote the name of our ministry on my forehead. And I didn't know what it was. Like, I woke up out of my sleep. I'm like, babe, look at my face. There's something on my face. There's something on my face. This is a true story, y'all. There's something on my face. Can you see it? She was like, no, what? I said, wait a minute. Wait. Increased Ministries. We're supposed to feed the poor or the homeless. And it left. It literally left me.
I didn't see nothing on his face at all. But then I said, oh my gosh. I woke up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. And God told me, I said, okay, God, okay, I'll do it. He told me to make chicken noodle soup. I don't even eat meat. And I said, okay, God, okay. All I remember saying, okay, God. I said a couple cans of soup. And then I said, okay, God, I'll do it. And I went back to sleep.
You said I'll make it from scratch. And then you said I'll do it.
I said I'll make it from scratch.
Yeah,
I think he was telling me to make it from scratch. And I was battling. I was like, I'll make cans. And then I said, okay. I just remember saying, okay, God, okay. And went back to sleep. And then when he said that about the homeless, I was like, God told me to make chicken noodle soup.
It's crazy.
And I think that solidified.
So that's basically how our marriage took off. Our marriage started from giving. And we've been giving since we've been married.
And I think that's why I fought so hard when he was going through his little, not little to put him down, but his emotion. I think I fought so hard because I know what he said, that God said for us to be together, where God didn't tell me for us to be together at that moment. Because you know how people say, women say, God said you was my husband. And the man be like, he ain't tell me.
True.
But this is on the flip side.
Yeah.
We was at church and said, God said you and my wife, happy, but God did not tell me that. But when we went through our stages, we got married real quick. God kept laying Tony on my heart. I was crying and praying for him, going to church, and my girlfriend we were going to church. And he just laid him on my heart because I just felt he was just searching for the wrong things. And then if somebody care for you or love you, they'll come back. I guess my battle, or what I was standing still for, was the promises, what God had showed me in that dream when Tony said, you see Increased Ministries written on my face. Something wrong with this man. But it all blended together. I went back to that. Well, thinking about it now, God wouldn't just do this and give us this together if we wasn't meant to be together. So I just kind of tried to stand still.
And you know what's so crazy? When I was thinking about leaving, I do remember this. When I was thinking about leaving.
Oh, you admit it?
Oh yeah, I never I told you I knew we had the conversation, but when I was thinking about leaving, you're praying. I knew you were praying for us to stay together.
How did you know?
I don't know. I just knew it. I just felt it, and I felt you constantly praying for us to be together, and that was one of the reasons that helped me to stay. Really, other than Pastor Hawkins, I felt you. I don't know if I was laying in the bed, sleep, and heard you praying, or I just knew you was praying. Dang, she praying, and it touched me. It did. It was like that was part of my whole decision mode. I felt your prayers in that area, and I'm telling you, I'm grateful because I could have never went through. And this is true too. My life led me through cancer and all this with my wife. And
don't say this woman.
Yeah. I changed it with this great queen. How's that?
Right. Mm-hmm.
I would have had to go through all that by myself, and that would have been really difficult. I probably would not be alive today if it wasn't for my wife. I had to go through cancer. I had to go through all that, and I didn't have patience when I was single, so I wouldn't have stayed the 4 hours that I had to stay. They tricked me. When I had cancer, before I got diagnosed, I had to wait in this waiting room for the doctor about to do a biopsy because I had this lump and he wanted to see what it was. Well, 4 hours went by and I still didn't, 2 hours went by, I didn't get inside. And I was like, I'm leaving. I ain't got nothing wrong with me. And then her and the lady, she ran over to the lady and said, he's about to leave. He needs your help. Her and the lady recognized my impatientness, I guess if that's a word, and dragged me to the back, making me think that I'm about to be seen. Well, 2 hours later, So 4 hours it went by. 2 hours later,
Very stubborn.
the doctor finally got there and basically ended up saving my life. Through God, yeah. So thank God for this whole ordeal, because I'm still living because of my wife and the patience of a nurse that I don't even remember her name.
Do you think that could have been what Pastor Hawkins was talking about when he said, look into the end? The very end, and you said when you looked into the end, you didn't like what you saw.
I didn't like what I saw. Yeah. All I saw was me lonely. That was just complete loneliness. Well, I said just me and Ryan, so I was lonely. Nobody wants to be lonely, like I said earlier. Nobody wants to be lonely. Everybody wants to be.
Everybody want to be with somebody.
Everybody
Even though if you saying, I don't want nobody. No, everybody, we need somebody. We do. It's important. All right. We're going to end with Pastor Your Flop. Pastor Your Flop. 12 years. Maybe we can get you back. Not a whole year.
No
just
doubt.
yearly thing. Maybe you can come
If
on.
she stopped me from doing projects, I'll be back.
Yeah, y'all see the shiplet wall in the back? Yeah, you see that?
Yeah, that's me right there. That's me.
That's right.
I'm good. I ain't gonna lie.
I am so glad you're confident, because he was not confident.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, he is really good. He definitely has some skills. God really gave you some real skills. I pray for that too, ladies. Let me just tell you. I have a journal somewhere around here, and I specifically asked God a New Year's resolution. It was in a journal, and I prayed. I was very specific in my prayer.
So what was you specific about?
The money that I wanted to make, I asked for several different types of incomes. I wasn't specific on the businesses. I just said I wanted several different types of incomes flowing in. I asked for a handsome man that would marry me, love the kids, and that would be
endowed.
No,
That's what I thought you were talking about.
Yeah, good together physically.
Endowed.
Oh, good together physically.
Okay, good together physically.
And don't be putting stuff out there. Don't be doing all that, cause I will whoop. Cause I don't play that handy. I was so clear. I said can fix a sink, a faucet, a toilet, or something. I was very clear with that.
And I didn't even know I had that in me.
We was together for what? 8 years before you realized this. He woke up like, I think I could make a bed. What? I think I can make a bed.
Bookshelf. I think I started. Didn't I start with the bookshelf?
He started off with a bookshelf. Then he was like, I think I can make a bed. And then he just started going from bookshelves to beds and crown molding and hardwood flooring. And I was like, what is going on? Now he just recently, and our posters recently made a wall unit, a complete wall unit. How high?
9 feet 8 inches. 116 inches.
I didn't know this, and he didn't know that about himself either.
So it is.
I found out, he was like, oh, we started a business, another one. He's starting to realize what he liked and what he don't like. Something that we're learning. And I think from last year of our episode that we have matured too.
I think so.
All right, y'all, go and pastor your flop. No more excuses. Y'all know what y'all all need to do.
Wake up.
You heard? Hey smart people, I have a 3-month one-on-one personal or business coaching program. As you all know, I paid off $50,000 in debt in 1 year. I will teach you how I stayed out of debt using my burner method and personalized spreadsheet I created to fit my lifestyle and keep me on track. You will learn how to understand your money communication style using my financial treatment plan. Also, if you own a small business and you feel stuck with cash flow or feel disorganized, I teach business owners and self-employed entrepreneurs such as yourself to financially maximize your money, build wealth using your business income, and retire working on the business while your business continues to run, such as myself. You can book a call with me. The link is in the show notes. Thank you for listening to No More Excuses, Wake Up. If you love the show, please subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes or Spotify. To learn more about me and my different agencies and what I do, go to StenellMyersEnterprises.com. While you're there, check out Money Therapy Institute and watch my video where you will see me doing a little acting, showing you how I fought and kicked down closed doors. You can also click on Stenell the Money Therapist and get my free budget spreadsheet. And of course, you can email me at contact@StenellTheMoneyTherapist.com. I'm also on social media on Facebook at Stenell the Money Therapist and Instagram at Stenell the Money Therapist. No more excuses. Y'all know what y'all need to do. Wake up.